Caution to the student. Never begin to practice until you are sure you know how. Languid, thoughtless practice should be avoided. Put ambition, put inner, put the fire of determined will behind your practice, and the results will be astonishing. Take advantage of all favorable conditions. Not only keep the muscles of the right arm in a relaxed condition, but guard against tension in any part of the body. Keep the side of the hand and the wrist free from the desk, keep the right arm well out from the side, keep the right hand in front of the eyes, keep a right angle at the right elbow, and remember that the propelling power is located above the right elbow. If you think you are in a good position for writing, test the movement without touching the pen to the paper, and study the conditions under which you are trying to work. Be sure you are right before you go ahead. Drill 70. Not much movement drill of a special character is necessary in opening this lesson, the connected small p affording an excellent exercise. Study the form with care. Note particularly the point at the top, the loop below the base line, the length above and below the base, and the point where the left curve from below the base crosses the main line. 60 connected letters should be made to the minute. Make frequent comparisons and write a page. The count for each group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drill 71. Average rate of speed, 20 words to the minute. If small I is difficult, turn to drill 33, study the instructions, and practice small I as they're presented. Drill 72. The practice speed should be 14 words to a minute. Lesson 59. Drill 73. Make a few imaginary letters as a preliminary movement drill before beginning active work. As will be seen, nearly all the main oval part is at the left of the beginning stroke. Count 1, 2, and repeat, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for each group of 5. Move the paper after each group of 5. From 50 to 60 letters should be made to the minute. Make a full page and practice steadily, not spasmodically. This letter lends itself readily to a light, easy, swinging, and rhythmic movement. For that reason, it is an excellent movement drill, and the best style of capital P to adopt. Drill 74. Also make a page of this letter. It is a good movement drill. Count 3 and be sure to join the last part to the first with a loop a little above the center of the letter. 45 good letters should be made to the minute. Count 1, 2, 3. Drill 75. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for each group of 5, and make 12 groups or 60 letters to the minute. Lesson 60. Review lessons 58 and 59. Drill 76. Write from 10 to 12 words a minute, 4 to a line, 8 inches long. This is a good movement drill if properly practiced. Lesson 61. Business figures. Nothing is more important to the average bookkeeper or office clerk than good figures. In many lines of accounting, thousands of business figures are made without the writing of a single word. This, in a measure, is true in many branches of statistical work connected with railroad bookkeeping, where headings are printed and page after page is filled with figures. The first requisite is legibility, and its importance cannot be emphasized too much. Letters in a word may be known by the context, but each figure must depend upon itself for legibility. It is very important, then, that each figure should be so formed that its value, in groups or by itself, cannot be mistaken. An object lesson, for study. Through the adoption of the Palmer method, figures, made small and well within the spaces, the New England Telephone Company has reduced errors of its employees to a minimum, and saved thousands of dollars a year. Figures should be made small. Students sometimes think that large figures are necessarily plainer, but such is not the case. Examine carefully the diagram. At the left are figures that are absolutely plain, one could not be mistaken for another, and yet their extreme size in the small spaces makes them difficult to read. At the right are the same figures, no more perfect, but not so large. Please note carefully that these, surrounded by white paper, and much smaller, are more legible, even at a distance, than the large figures at the left. Students who have practiced in copybooks almost invariably make figures 3 or 4 times too large. Our models are large enough for ordinary use. If occasion demands, it will be easy to make them larger. 1/8 of an inch is perhaps high enough for ordinary figures, while in some places it will be an advantage to make them even smaller. For study. How to practice. In making figure 1, draw the hand toward you with a quick light motion, sliding on the third and fourth fingers. Uniformity in the height and slant are the two important points to observe. The development and application of a lateral oval motion will aid in the construction of figure 2. In making it in class drill, a count of 3 should be used, thus 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, etc., or 2, 3. Notice the exercise preceding figure 3 in lesson 65. The motion used in that exercise will produce a good figure if properly applied. 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3 is the count used. A count of 3 is used in figures 4 and 5 also, but for figures 6, 7, and 9, use a count of 2. Several lessons should be given to drilling on the figures singly before grouping them, but as soon as the forms are mastered and the student can make them at a fair rate of speed, it is best to drill in miscellaneous order somewhat as follows: 1, 0, 2, 6, 9, 8, 5, 4, 3, 0, 9, 6, 7, 2, 2, 8, 9, 3, 5, 6, 9, 1, 5, 8, 6, 9, 5, 4, 6, 9, 3, 7, 8, etc. No particular order is necessary, but the aim should be to repeat one as often as another. Lesson 62 Drill 77. Lesson 63. Drill 78. It is truly interesting to watch the development and improvement in figure practice in a class where the work is well and systematically done. 2 weeks should be devoted to this practice and there should be frequent reviews. Some teachers place great emphasis upon the order of simplicity, but as a matter of fact, no 2 students will be able to agree on this, and, since we are going to devote some time to drilling on each figure during a period of 2 weeks, there is little use in attempting any arrangement on such a basis. If there is a difference, the difficult figures should be given most practice. Lesson 64. Drill 79. As soon as fair progress has been made in making figure 2, an effort should be made to bring the rate of speed to 75 a minute. Count 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, for each figure made in class practice. Lesson 65. Drill 80. In the author's classes, the method here presented of teaching figure 3 has proved more satisfactory than any other that he has tested. The motion produces the figure, learn this motion thoroughly. Count 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3, and make 70 figures a minute. The Palmer method is a textbook on practical writing. The instructions should be studied and followed. Lesson 66. Drill 81. Figure 5 is in a large measure dependent upon the horizontal stroke at the top for its legibility. This horizontal line should be made last. Study the form as well as practice it. About 70 good figures should be made to the minute. This speed may be increased later. Count 1, 2, 3. Lesson 67. Drill 82. 7 extends below the base. Make this figure in a count of 1, 2, at the rate of about 85 to the minute. Lesson 68. Drill 83. 4 rests on the baseline, and usually the last part extends above the first. Count 1, 2, 3, and make from 60 to 70 a minute. Lesson 69. Drill 84. The compound curve at the left on the first line in Drill 84, and the arrow in the first figure show how 8 begins. After a few minutes drill on figure 8 at a speed of 60 to 70 a minute, miscellaneous figures should be introduced. In class work these figures should be made from the dictation of the teacher, and the practice speed should be from 90 to 100 figures to the minute. The author usually makes the figures on the blackboard as they are dictated to the class. A fairly rapid penman can make from 100 to 125 of these in a minute. Compare your figures with the copies and make all figures small and disconnected. Miscellaneous figures for study and practice. Lesson 70. Drill 85. Special points to observe. Capital E is made with an application of the oval motion, as developed in capitals O, A and C, the application varying but little. The upper part of capital E is about 1/3 the entire height of the letter. I.e. finishing oval should not exceed 1/2 the entire height, and the loop marking 2/3 the height of the letter points downward at about a right angle with the main slant. Practice the first row as a movement drill. Make the small, upper, oval first, and swing into the lower and larger oval without lifting the pen. Make 5 traced ovals for the upper, and the same for the lower part, thus permitting a count of 10 for each completed exercise. The abbreviated E in the second line is used by good business penmen more than any other, but the form used in the next line, finished with an oval, should be practiced and mastered. The count for each should be 1, 2, 3, or 2, 3. From 45 to 50 of the abbreviated form and but few less of the other should be made to the minute. Count the number of letters on a line, and make as many in the same space. The abbreviated capital E, followed with the small e, may be practiced as a movement drill to good advantage now and during future practice periods. The count for it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Review this lesson often until you make a good capital E. It is not Palmer method if the lines are tremulous. Study the instructions for speed requirements. Lesson 71. Drill 86. The framework of capital B is clearly shown in the models below. The straight line starting at a point about 3/4 of the distance from the base is purely a guide line, a prop upon which the remainder rests. Without it, beginners make very feeble letters. Although usually lost in the retraced line, the author considers it a very essential part of the letter. Definiteness is essential in business writing. There should be a definite starting point and a definite ending point in every letter. Every curve and every loop should be definite and have a definite place in the plan of construction. In studying the forms of the letters here given, bear this in mind. Capital B may end in a dot as shown above, or it may end in an angular form, furnishing a connective stroke for the letters following. The count for capital B is 1, 2, 3, and a fair practice speed is 40 to the minute when the letters are disconnected, and a little higher rate when the letters are connected as in Drill 87. Drill 87. Lesson 72. Drill 88. Study small b. The lower part of the letter should be as wide as the loop through the widest part, and some good penmen make it a little wider than this. Do not make your letters larger than those in the copy. Make line after line until you are able to make the letters easily and at a fair rate of speed. 16 groups or 80 letters to the minute is not a high rate for this drill. The count for each group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, with the emphasis on the finishing point in each letter. The connective stroke is slightly curved. Lesson 73. Drill 89. Students are expected to practice the above words as movement drills. The speed in the first 2 lines should be from 20 to 25 words a minute. At this rate, form can be improved while movement is being developed. The word billing may be practiced at from 12 to 14 a minute. Lesson 74. Drill 90. Study the form before attempting the drill. Make 10 sets of 5 each, or 50 small ks to the minute. Keep the letters down to the size of the copies. Count 1, 2, 3 for each letter with a slight check on the 2. Lesson 75. Drill 91. This writing is large enough. In studying size, students should make frequent comparisons. The practice speed should be, for the first word, 20, and for the word killing 12 to the minute. See the following page. Lesson 76. To relieve muscular tension. It is often advantageous to go over the path of the letter, or exercise, with a dry pen. This method is especially helpful to a student whose muscles are hard, and who finds difficulty in overcoming the tendency to keep the muscles of the arm and body in a rigid condition. This plan has been suggested in former lessons, and we consider it of sufficient importance to receive emphasis here. Another plan which the author has found helpful to students who write with strained muscles, is to place a weight on the paper, and write with the left arm hanging down. The tension of the right arm is relieved at once. Still another plan to relieve this tension, so common among beginners, is to select some easy drill like O or M, and make it across the ruled lines with the eyes fixed upon some object at a distance on a level with them when the body is fairly erect. Drill 92. Small f is a little shorter below than above the baseline, and is closed on the baseline. A fair rate of practice speed is 14 groups of 5 letters each, or 70 letters to the minute. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for each group. Lesson 77. Drill 93. Write several lines of the first word before changing to the second. Write 20 or more words in a minute. Lesson 78. Drill 94. Rate of practice speed, 14 words to the minute. Good movement leads to good writing, good position leads to good movement. Watch the position, watch the movement. Lesson 79. Let us emphasize the statement made in a preceding lesson that constant repetition is necessary in developing a good style of writing for business. Another thing for the student to bear in mind is the fact that the only way to learn to execute business writing is to practice business writing. Review as many lessons as time permits. Lesson 80. Drill 95. Compare the oval of capital D with capital O. Do not neglect to make a careful study of D, each part by itself, and the letter as a whole. Do not drag the hand over the paper, but keep it well up in front of the eyes, and drive it along firmly but lightly. It takes a little time, energy, and enthusiastic practice to make a good business penman, but it is encouraging to know that under the muscular movement plan there are no failures when favorable conditions prevail. Practice capital D until you can make 45 fairly good letters to the minute. Count 1, 2, 3 for each letter. In writing the word drumming, do not lift the pen from the beginning stroke in small r to the ending stroke of small g. Regularity and continuity of motion are very essential. Keep the pen on the paper. The word should be practiced at a rate of 9 to a minute. Lesson 81. Drill 96. Do not make the beginning part of capital T too high, it should be but little more than 2/3 the entire height of the letter. Note particularly that the last part curves over the top of the main, first, part without touching it. Time and hard work will be important factors in developing this letter. Be earnest, be faithful. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4, and about 40 letters should be made to the minute. Drill 97. You will see that this capital F is a copy of capital T, with the crossing added. This is not recommended as a business form, since it cannot be made rapidly. Many of the forms in this book are not given for their beauty, but because 90% of our best business penmen use them. Lesson 82. Drill 98. In 12 of the business capitals we have the small loop beginning. Turn it upside down and you will see that it is the inverted figure 6. Most pupils find this style of starting capital letters somewhat difficult at first, but when mastered it becomes a favorite. It is of sufficient importance to be given considerable study and practice. A careful study and comparison of these capitals will show that in F, Q, W, X and Z the main downward strokes are curved much more than in H, K, M and N, while compound curves are used in the main strokes of U, V and Y. Practice the first part at the left of the line. Lesson 83. Drill 99. Capital Q, as shown above, is the enlarged form of Figure 2 preceded by a movement drill. Curve the main downward strokes liberally. Make the lower loop flat on the baseline and drop the finishing curve below. Students should frequently compare their writing with the copies. Drill 100. The mind directs, the arm and hand perform, both mind and muscle must work in harmony. No matter how perfectly the muscles of the arm are trained, good letters cannot be made unless a good conception of form is in the mind. Capital Q should be made well at the rate of 60 to the minute, and the Figure 2 faster. The count in each case is 1, 2, 3. Drill 101. In the style of writing here presented, the loop of small g extends 3 spaces below the baseline. The paper should be held in such a position that the downward strokes are pulled toward the center of the body, the paper being changed from time to time with the left hand to keep its position relatively the same. The motion should be purely muscular throughout, and the movement in making the loop particularly quick and elastic. Study the form closely and note the crossing of the loop with a left curve on the base. Pull the loops toward the center of the body and not toward the left elbow. In groups of 5 connected letters, a speed of 65 letters to the minute should be attained. A count of 10 for each group of 5 will aid in regulating the movement. Drill 102. By comparison, it will be seen that Q is a little shorter below the base than G, that the turn at the bottom is made to the right, instead of to the left, and that the lower part connects on the base line with the first. On account of the check at the connective point, fewer letters are made to the minute than of small g, but the movement should be quick. Lesson 84. Drill 103. See suggestions at the top of the following page. The inverted small e preceding capital H in page 69 will not only aid in developing the small loop beginning but will ensure freedom of movement and lightness of stroke. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 for the drill and first part of capital H, and 1, 2 for the last part. In making the last part, swing the hand to the same direction as for the beginning of capital O, but straighten the stroke from its center to its base. Let nothing escape you, observe closely every stroke, no matter how minute or unimportant it may appear. Drill 104. With an easy, swinging movement, make 35 or more capitals off above form to the minute with a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. The beginning loop may be made smaller than in the copy, but no larger in business writing. Capital K is a natural companion to capital H. The beginning strokes in both letters are identical in size and shape. Lesson 85. Drill 105. Careful study of the last part of K will be very much to the advantage of every student. Study it with the first part covered with a piece of paper. Turn the copy upside down and study it in that position. Notice particularly that the loop grasps the first part a little above the center. Drill 106. 35 to 40 to the minute will be a fair rate of speed. Compare your capitals frequently with the copy. Are you studying the instructions? They tell you just how to succeed. Lesson 86. Drill 107. This is a most excellent word to practice at this stage of the work. It is a good movement developer. Give close attention to size, general appearance, and space between letters, and guard against irregular movement. Keep the hand well up in front of the eyes and drive the pen lightly. Write a half page of the copy and then make a careful study of your work. Try to write each line better than the preceding. 3 words should be written to the line. Lesson 87. Drill 108. A review. Work faithfully on every letter. Repeat the forms over and over until decided improvement can be seen. Make frequent comparisons. Study length, breadth, curves, and connections closely. Rate of speed to the minute, f. 50, h. 35, k. 35, m. 35, n. 40. Lesson 88. Drill 109. A review. Rate of practice speed, q. 60, u. 45, v. 55, w. 40 to the minute. Points to observe. Capital Q is the enlarged form of figure 2. The last parts of U, V, and W are shorter than the other parts, and the first strokes in U and V are exactly alike. In capital W, check the motion a little at the baseline in the first main downward stroke, as this will aid in the construction of the last part. Lesson 89. Drill 110. Practice this compact oval as a beginning drill. Make it between two ruled lines, carry the pen lightly and see how many you can make in one row, with one dip of ink. Study and compare as you practice. Drill speed to the minute in the following capitals: X, 35, Y, 40, Z, 50. Drill 111. Review work. At this point it would be a good plan to review all the essential work of the preceding lessons. From 1 to 2 weeks should be spent in such practice. Lesson 90. Drill 112. Some authors make the loop of J and Z shorter below the base than small y and g, but we make no distinction. The J begins like a small I and ends with a loop. Small z should receive careful attention. Lesson 91. Something more about size. In these lessons is presented a style of writing that is easily and rapidly executed, and though large enough to be perfectly legible, it is small enough for general use. Examine the writing of the best business penmen in the large mercantile centers and it will be seen that this is true. It is a grave error to present for practice models larger than the pupils are expected to employ in their ordinary writing. And yet many professional penmen continue to present models not only 2 or 3 times larger than good business writing is expected to be, but forms that cannot possibly be executed at commercial speed. Capital and word practice as movement drills. In the following copies the capital and word practice is intended to encourage free movement, continuity in execution, and better control of the writing muscles than has, perhaps, been gained. The plan is to repeat the capital until it can be made at the speed designated, and to follow with word practice. In the word drills the value of a continuous movement must not be lost sight of, and the pen should remain on the paper from the beginning to the ending of the small letters. In fact, all the copies should be treated as movement drills. Words ending in ing have been purposely selected and their value will not be questioned if they are rightly practiced. Drill 113. The rate of speed for capital A is from 75 to 85 to the minute, and for the word alling, about 15 to the minute. Lesson 92. Drill 114. Practice the word calling at 15 or more a minute, and chiming at the same rate. Lesson 93. Drill 115. Lesson 94. Drill 116. Open the lesson with a drill on capital O, making fully 60 to the minute, and write the word oiling at the rate of 14 to the minute. Watch position, watch movement. Capital L, rightly practiced, is always an excellent movement drill. Questions you should be able to answer intelligently: Vere and how does the beginning stroke start? How long is the upper loop, compared with the length of the letter? Is the downward stroke a straight line or a curve? Is the lower loop round or flat, and what part rests on the bass line? Is the final stroke finished on or below the bass line? Compare your work with the copy in reference to these questions. Practice speed, 60 letters to the minute. Write the word landing with a very light motion at a speed not less than 12 to the minute. Lesson 95. Drill 117. Do not overlook the proportions of capital M. It should fill a square. Practice speed for M, about 40 to the minute, and of the word milling, 14 words a minute. A higher rate of speed may be applied by some pupils. Lesson 96. Special notice: pupils who cannot use and apply the muscular movement fairly well, should return to the beginning lessons and review them, studying carefully all the instructions regarding position, pen holding, and methods of developing movement. Drill 118. Capital N should be made at the rate of 55 a minute. Practice speed for nulling, 14 or 16 to the minute. Lesson 97. Drill 119. Capital H should be made at the rate of 35 or 40 a minute, and the word hauling about 15 to the minute. Lesson 98. Drill 120. 40 capital KS to the minute is a fair rate. Pupils should not lose sight of the fact that motion determines form. Take care of the motion, and the forms of the letters will develop easily and naturally. A careful study of the movement as applied to capital K will be helpful. After making the first part of the letter, the hand, with the pen in the air, should swing below the base line, describing an oval and returning upward to the beginning point of the last part of the letter. Be sure to connect the parts with a loop, as shown in the copy. Drop the finishing part below the base line. Don't forget the word practice, about 12 words to the minute is a fair rate of speed. Lesson 99. Drill 121. Practice capital P at the rate of 50 to 60 letters a minute, the word pulling, 12 words a minute. Some pupils will be able to write the word at higher speed and still do good work. Lesson 100. Be sure to fix in mind the image of the letter before attempting it. Study closely the proportions and the direction of every stroke. Make about 50 capital RS to the minute, as given in the next page. Do not forget that your advancement depends upon movement, and that movement depends much upon position. Body should be self-supporting, with the feet resting squarely on the floor, and should not crowd against the desk. The right arm should be well out from the side, the right hand well in front of the eyes, and the paper 12 or 14 inches from the eyes. If the tist or side of the hand rests on the paper, all motion coming from the muscles of the arm will stop at the wrist, and it will be an impossibility to use muscular movement. Watch the wrist and the side of the hand closely. Remember that the propelling power is above the elbow, in the upper arm and shoulder. Write line after line of the word running with a light, quick motion, and compare with the copy frequently. 12 to 14 words should be written to the minute. Drill 122. Lesson 101. Drill 123. Turn to Lesson 54 and practice and study capital S in accordance with the instructions. Enough time should be reserved to write at least one page of the word swelling. Lesson 102. Drill 124. Pupils who cannot make good loop letters should make a special study of Lesson 32. Lesson 103. Drill 125. As explained in a former lesson, capital Q is simply a large figure 2. It is a good movement drill. Practice it as such. In all your word practice, a special effort should be made to space the letters evenly. Study your written lines with that in mind. Lesson 104. Pupils should give particular attention to the appearance of their finished pages, making letters and words conform to spaces. The capitals should occupy only from 2/3 to 3/4 the distance between the ruled lines, assuming that they are about 3/8 of an inch apart. From 15 to 20 capitals should be made to a line. If the forms are well made, a page of capitals written in accordance with these suggestions will present a very pleasing appearance. See Drill 126. The crossing of capital F at the top of the following page is above the center, and the final stroke at the crossing is small. In practice, write the full word every time the capital is made. Do not let your practice work approach scribbling. Do the very best you can, not part of the time, but all the time. You aim before you shoot. You should study the instructions before you practice the drills. Drill 126. Lesson 105. Drill 127. Always start capital I with an upward stroke from below the baseline. The upper part should be about 1/2 the width of the lower. The crossing of the beginning with the main downward stroke should be one space above the baseline. Practice the detached capital as well as the word until there is an improvement in the movement and its application. Lesson 106. Drill 128. Practice and compare, and then practice again. Capital J is twice as wide above as below the base, and the lower part is a little shorter than upper part. Pupils who find the letter troublesome should review lessons 49 and 50. Lesson 107. Drill 129. Write a page of capital E's and another page of the words. Lesson 108. Drill 130. Capital B was discussed at considerable length in Lesson 71, and students who have failed to master the letter should turn to that lesson for review. Lesson 109. Drill 131. Make your letters no larger than the copies. Write line after line of the detached capitals before emitting the word. Rate of speed for practice, 50 to 55 capitals and 14 words in a minute. Lesson 110. Drill 132. The first part of capital T should be no more than 2/3 the height of the entire letter. Give attention to the abrupt stop on the base line in the first part of the letter. Carry the last part up and over the first part in a graceful curve. Practice the word as well as the detached capital. Lesson 111. Drill 133. Capital W should be very closely studied. The tendency is to slant the last part too much, tipping it away from the first part. The upward stroke beginning the second part is a right curve, and the construction of the last part and the appearance of the entire letter are to a considerable extent dependent upon that line. In making the first part there should be a stop at the base line. His will aid very much in the construction of the last part of the letter. The last line in the letter, it will be noticed, is shorter than the two center strokes. It is unlikely that students who fail to study its construction closely will learn to make a good capital W. Rate should be between 40 and 50 letters to a minute. Do not neglect the word practice. Write about 16 words to the minute. Lesson 112. Drill 134. The last part of capital U is shorter than the first part. Study the letter until you have a good mental picture of it. Make U at the rate of 45 to a minute, and do not neglect the word practice. Lesson 113. Drill 135. An otherwise good capital V will be spoiled if the finishing line is too long. Notice its length. Study and practice should go hand in hand. Do not neglect either. Caution to teachers and pupils. The development of good business writing is dependent, first, upon proper clothing of the emitting arm, second, upon a substantial desk or table of the right height, third, upon a good position at the desk, fourth, upon a relaxed condition of the emitting muscles, fifth, upon the freedom of the wrist and the side of the hand from the paper, and sixth, upon concentration, determination, and constantly repeated effort. Teachers who cannot maintain enthusiasm throughout the emitting period, and who do not realize the necessity of constantly repeated cautions and admonitions, must never expect to secure flattering results. Teachers, see that your pupils are alert, watchful, and practicing under the most favorable conditions. Force upon the inner consciousness of every pupil the harmfulness of careless practice and the necessity for making every stroke according to instructions and in the right direction. Pupils, do not vehemently assert that you are very anxious to become good penmen, and then abuse the opportunities within your reach. Learning to write well is not difficult to the earnest, careful, hard-working pupil, and with such results almost immediately follow correct methods of practice. Finger movement and muscular movement are antagonistic, and the student who makes an effort to use muscular movement in the writing class only, need not hope for success. Home students, not having the advantage of the directing counsel of good teachers, should frequently review the beginning lessons. You cannot fail if you follow the instructions. Drill 136. Practice the above copy in sections. Repeat capital I until the form is good when made rapidly, follow with several lines of the word and continue to practice each word in the copy until uniformity in spacing, height, and slant have been developed. Then write a page of the complete copy and criticize it. As simple as it looks, there is material for several hours practice in this copy. Lesson 114. Drill 137. The same method of practice should be followed in this drill as in the preceding one. Lesson 115. Drill 138. Begin this lesson with your usual movement drills. First, practice drill 138 in sections, word by word. Follow with a full page of the completed copy, and do not neglect to criticize results. Height, spacing, and slant should receive special attention. In the following lessons are given copies in line writing from which pages should be written. It may be easy for some students who cannot maintain uniform excellence throughout a page to write 1 or 2 lines well. The object of your practice should be attractive work and commercial speed. To attain this end, study the appearance of the finished line and page from time to time, and always try to harmonize the writing with the space it occupies. Lesson 116. Drill 139. Practice this copy as given. Write each word over and over, until the motion used is almost automatic and a marked improvement is shown in the general appearance. Then write a few lines of the drill complete, and study the appearance. Lesson 117. Drill 140. Do not rest a moment until you have filled one page with this copy, then judge the appearance as a whole. Do not type larger than the copy. Lesson 118. Drill 141. Make a few lines of capital D before writing the line. Do not lose sight of the fact that position at the desk has much to do with the development of writing. Position refers to feet, body, arms, wrist, fingers, pen, head, and paper. In preceding lessons enough has been said about these to make extended instructions here unnecessary. Lesson 119. Drill 142. Uniformity may be hard to maintain in this copy. After writing a few lines, pick out the faults and endeavor to correct them. Lesson 120. Drill 143. Solid pages are wanted, not haphazard writing. Lesson 121. Drill 144. Practice capital H as a movement drill a few minutes before writing the complete line. Maintain equal distances, not only between letters, but between the words. Lesson 122. Drill 145. Lesson 123. Drill 146. Lesson 124. Drill 147. Lesson 125. Drill 148. Drill 149. Lesson 126. Drill 150. Practice capital O as a movement drill for a few minutes and then do your best on the entire copy. Lesson 127. Drill 151. Lesson 128. Drill 152. This drill is difficult enough to merit careful practice for a full writing period. It will be best first to practice capital Q as a movement drill. Lesson 129. Drill 153. Lesson 130. Drill 154. Lesson 131. Drill 155. Lesson 132. Drill 156. Lesson 133. Drill 157. It is always a good plan, where time permits, to practice each capital at the beginning of the line as a drill. Lesson 134. Drill 158. Do not neglect the movement drills, although they are not specially mentioned in every lesson. Lesson 135. Drill 159. Lesson 136. Drill 160. Capital X is made with a figure 6 inverted, and a figure 6 right side up. Keep this in mind when making it. Lesson 137. Drill 161. Lesson 138. Drill 162. Lesson 139. Drill 163. Lesson 140. Drill 164. Work up to the complete copy by a systematic practice on the capitals and words separately. Lesson 141. Drill 165. The author, in common with many teachers of business writing, has found the practice of combinations of capitals very helpful in developing accuracy and freedom. This is an excellent part of the course in which to introduce such drills, but tangled and difficult combinations should be avoided. Drill 165, if rightly practiced, will ensure light movement and develop constructive ability. About 22 of this combination should be made to a minute. It will be profitable to devote a full session to it. Lesson 142. Drills 166 and 167. Practice the combinations of capitals several minutes before practicing the small letters. A perfect mastery of the following combinations will help students in the work that follows. A few scattered lines will not meet the requirements. Write a full page. Lesson 143. Drill 168. Use uniform motion from beginning to end, and make about 25 to a minute. Lesson 144. Drill 169. This affords a good drill and a good test of accuracy in applying movement. The last downward stroke in capital H is a left curve, is it not? Study the direction of the pen in making it, and then strike boldly. His will be a good drill to practice frequently at the beginning of a lesson. Drill 170. Use your eyes, focus your mind upon your work, study and practice earnestly, and you will be pleased with the results. Lesson 145. Movement drills for a few minutes and then the following. Drill 171. Practice the combination of capitals several times before making the small letters. Such repeated effort will be helpful.